Notice of this meeting stating the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Clerk, can you please conduct a prayer and flag salute?
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the event of an emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the three doors in the rear of the room. Occupants should proceed down the staircase, out the front door, and move away from the area of the front desk. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign in on the white sheets provided at the front of the room. Because of the current health crisis, please limit comments to matters on the agenda. We're asking you to please cooperate with that this evening. As you can see, our council is spread out. We're practicing the social distancing, and I'm asking members of the public too, if possible, to please, be mindful of that. Please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate. If you wish to take a call, please leave the council chambers to do so. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond?
Here.
Javik?
Here.
Caldwell?
Present.
Mohammed?
Present.
Cosby? Roman?
Present.
Strano?
Here.
Blaine?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Hickey?
Here.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Here. Okay, can we have approval of the minutes of the February 18, 2020 council meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 2019, February 2020 council conference meeting, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Okay. Mayor, is Mr. De Silva here this evening? Okay. Mr. De Silva, would you please come forward? Okay, over here.
No, we don't have anything. That's his.
All right.
Do it after.
Okay.
I hear you.
Actually, Mr. De Silva, if you could just take a seat for a few minutes. Sorry for
A nice practice, doesn't hurt
the
no more.
kabobble. Everything's been a little crazy with everything going on. At this point, I'd like to ask Diane Wilverding to come forward and Councilman Roman to please go to the floor. We have that one, correct? Okay. What's this about?
Excuse me. So I just want to start this off that saying that Diane had no idea until she saw the agenda that her name was on the agenda, so I might take some heat after this. But earlier this month, Diane contacted me about a resident who has lived in Linden for his entire life, who had fallen on hard times and become homeless. We've had a bit of a homeless issue in the city of Linden, but this person not something you saw coming. So Diane basically banded a bunch of people together, took the lead on it severely, and within days found him a new residence, got him a brand new bed, and worked towards getting donations in order to not only feed him at several different locations around town, but also to have his whole first month's rent paid. And it wouldn't have happened without Diane. And this person came to me afterwards and, was so thankful that he felt the tears. And it's honestly it all got done because of Diane. And I wanted to explain the situation to the public and also commemorate this in our permanent record for Diane, because it's not all that Diane does. She does a lot for the community, especially the 6th Ward community and her little street. She knows everyone, and she takes care of a lot of people. So I'm going to skip through most of this, and I'm just going to go to whereas Linden has many unsung women who have contributed to the fabric of life in Linden, with Diane Wilverding being one such woman. Diane has been a 6th Ward resident for over 30 years.
We've owned the property 54 years.
All right,
but
so-
I've come and gone, yeah.
Graduated from Linden High School in 1972 and is a retired art teacher. In her retirement, she's vacationed in each of the 50 states in the United States. Is that right? I think last year Diane hit the 50th state, which was Alaska, I believe. She's been an active member of the community. Diane is a member of the Linden Citizens Association, a past member of the Linden Democratic Committee. And recently, Diane, along with a group of residents, came together to help a fellow lifelong Linden resident who became homeless. Within days, she was able to acquire living quarters, a new bed, through a generous donation, was able to pay for a lot of food and also the first month's rent for this person. And whereas the mayor and city council in the city of Linden wishes to acknowledge and honor the role Diane Wilverding has played in the history of the city of Linden. So now therefore resolved by the governing body of the city of Linden that they do hereby acknowledge Diane Wilverding, her role in the history of the city of Linden, for her unselfish acts of kindness to a member of our Linden community that fell upon hard times during Women's History Month, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed into the minutes of the city council of the city of Linden and be fittingly presented to her. So I'd like you all to give Diane a round of applause now.
This is a shock and kind of embarrassing because I was brought up, you just do it and you shut up about it. And this person that I helped deserved it, very kind person. And if we all show a little kindness to everybody, I'm sure there's a lot of extra stuff in everybody's house. And it's just what you do. So I wasn't expecting this, and it's really not necessary, but thank you.
You deserve it, Diane. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. De Silva. Mayor Armstead. Okay. Is she on her way down? This is like a wedding. We have the groom, but not the... Left at the dais. Yes. Rebecca. Yeah. Joe's not here? Oh, there he is. Can he start reading the resolution at least, maybe? You good, Mayor? Okay. We'll continue with the meeting then.
Well, good evening, everybody. Sorry for the delay of game here. I guess you all know there's a saying here in Linden that Linden means basketball, and I don't care. Even our scrubs could go to other towns and play and beat up on people. But this gentleman, I will honestly say, you can't even, scrub is not a word you could use with this guy right here. You've got to watch some of his videos. He's very talented, and you know, maybe he didn't go to the NBA, but I'll tell you something, if you ever watch this guy handle a basketball, you'll have a whole new respect for him. You know, he's outstanding. We were watching the videos a couple days ago, and I recall back some years ago when he was really active, and I first saw his commercial. I didn't even know who he was back then, but as I watched the commercials, I said, I know that guy. But very talented, and you know, just going to read a proclamation, and we're just proud to have anybody from Linden who has done well for themselves or has done anything to put us on the map. We thank them for all they've done. So we have a proclamation for Lewis. It reads, whereas Louis Da Silva was born on August 3rd, 1982 in Elizabeth, New Jersey. We won't hold that against you. To Louis and Dana. And at the age of 3, Louis and his family moved to Ainsworth Street in Linden, 2nd Ward. See, they wisened up and came to Linden. Whereas Louis Da Silva grew up playing baseball and practicing Aikido, but around the age of 13, he discovered his passion for basketball. Louis honed his basketball skills at Knofsky and Wilson Park, and whereas Louis Da Silva attended Linden High School and played basketball under Coach Phil Colicchio's tutelage in 1998 and 1999. In his senior year, he was scouted by Coach Kevin Boyle and finished his high school basketball career at St. Pat's in Elizabeth. And we're not going to hold that against you either. And whereas Louis Da Silva, at the age of 18, walked into an open audition for a Nike commercial because of his talent. Nike signed him immediately to represent their freestyle ad campaign. This ad at the time became one of the most widely recognized commercials, and because of this ad, Louis was offered an endorsement deal, making him the youngest and first non-professional athlete to sign with Nike. And whereas Louis Da Silva in 2003 was the youngest player signed to the Harlem Wizards show basketball team, and in 2007, Louis was able to fulfill his childhood dream when he was invited to participate with the Harlem Globetrotters minicamp, and in 2008, he was the #1 draft pick in the PBL Basketball League for the Dallas Defenders. And whereas Louis Da Silva went on to become a Guinness World Record holder for 24 consecutive net catches in basketball. He was featured on the cover of Time magazine and the Wall Street Journal. He has also starred in several NBA-themed video games, including LA Rush, produced by Midway Games, and is known by his nickname, Tricks. And whereas Louis Da Silva has appeared in several movies, including, but not limited to, Fast 5 with Vin Diesel, 21 Jump Street with Holly Robinson Pete, The Heat with Sandra Bullock, Gotti, Trading Paint and Cigarette with John Travolta, to name a few. He's also appeared in many television series such as Graceland, Person of Interest, Burn Notice, and Law & Order Criminal Intent. And whereas Louis Da Silva, being a new father, was inspired by his little girl Zoe Aiko, who was his world, turned his focus into writing children's books. His first book, A Boy Named Boo, he wrote and illustrated since then and illustrated. Since then, he has written Zoe and Toby and the Alphabet Adventures, and presently he has 2 books in the pipeline. And whereas Louis da Silva, when not busy playing basketball, acting, and writing, he spends each moment enjoying his daughter and comes home to Linden, New Jersey, to visit his parents who live in the 7th Ward, Trimley Point section, and his sister Sherry Lynn. Now therefore be proclaimed that I, Derek Armstead, Mayor of the City of Linden, in the State of New Jersey, on the 17th day of March 2020, do hereby proclaim that it is my honor to recognize, applaud, and express admiration for the excellence, commitment, and achievements of Louis da Silva, to his many talents in basketball, acting, and writing, and his positive example that anything in life is possible, and for making the City of Linden proud. And that you have done. He's made us proud. And again, if any of you get a chance, just go to check his videos out. He's outstanding.
Congratulations. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you guys for coming out this evening. First, I'd like to thank my Lord Savior Jesus Christ, my mom and dad, who would be here, but like most, we're all in quote unquote this hysteria with this COVID-19. But I'm very optimistic, like many, that we are the strongest nation with the most powerful government, and led here by an amazing council and a mayor, that we are going to fight this collectively. Social distance is becoming the new thing of days, but just remember that in times like this, what brings us together is a unity. We're all one, and this too shall pass. So I also want to thank the city of Linden for making the environment so safe, because if it wasn't for this city and the officers and mayors and councilmen, I wouldn't have the opportunity to own my craft and dribbling in Wilson Park and Noski, and dribbling up and down Stiles and Wood Ave to whether it's 7-Eleven or Dairy Queen. It was a safe place that I called home, and I really commend you guys in this city and doing a terrific job. And have no fear. I know the media tends to keep everybody in hysteria, but this town does a very, very solid job. I want to thank a couple of individuals. Rebecca, I want to make sure I get the last name correct, and if not, don't chase me with a spaghetti spoon. So it's Rebecca Carens Tapatoli. Tatoli. Close enough. Jennifer Honan, and Jennifer Honan, right? Jennifer Honan works with the club. Thank you so much. I know she's been very helpful. And a couple other individuals that work for the Sheriff's Department, Chris Zeminski, a personal friend who gave me the call from Wally Dixon, who also is a resident here in Linden, and gave me the opportunity back in 2001 to have an open call audition for Nike. Davon Cousins, of course, my mom and dad, my beautiful daughter, who would be here, but with, again, this and keeping the distance is becoming a new regular. But I want to rest assured that this town does a fabulous job in making sure, working endless and diligently, and safety comes first. So again, guys, thank you very much. This isn't about me, it's about us as a unit. And I don't care what ethnicity, color, race, what part of the world, we're all dealing with this together. So let's continue to move forward and work in efforts in making this town as great as it has been before, as it will tomorrow. So I thank you again, and again, Lord Jesus Christ bless me with this opportunity, and I look forward to working with the town and doing more things and fundraisers collectively for the city. I also have 2 published books that are out in Barnes & Nobles, and 3 other ones now that I have downtime that I can't go anywhere. Gyms are closed, no NBA, I'm going crazy, I'm sitting home, so I'm writing more. but I'm going to make efforts to make sure every kindergarten to third grade gets a copy of each book that I have, and do like a little book tour once we, the smoke settles with this in every single public school in the city of Linden. So again, guys, thank you very kindly for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to ordinances on hearing. We're going to start with ordinance 64-5.
An ordinance adopting the redevelopment plan entitled Redevelopment Plan 4,900 Termly Point Road Redevelopment Project, Block 587, Lots 8, 9, and 23, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 at sequence.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion that we close the hearing on ordinance 64-05, adopt it, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 64-6.
An ordinance adopting an amended plan entitled Municipal Landfill Redevelopment Project Redevelopment Plan pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 at sequence.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 64-06, adopt it, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 64-7.
An ordinance adopting the redevelopment plan entitled Redevelopment Plan, Block 254, Lots 1 through 10, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 at sequence.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6407. Move for approval to adopt the redevelopment plan as introduced and reject the planning board's recommendation at this time. I believe that we are prepared to send out a request for a proposal for potential redevelopers of the site, and that the RFP asks the potential redevelopers to identify any market conditions that exist that may require changes to the redevelopment plan, with the appropriateness being on the market to determine. And I request a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Thank you,
Councilman
Council President.
Roman?
Thank you, Council President. I would just like to, I know we passed something previously. I would like to know what's the change here? This is the Quick Check parking property, am I correct? Is there some sort of change to the original redevelopment?
Mr. Northgrave, can you come up to the? Got it.
No, the microphone.
Yeah, the microphone.
Got it, okay. We'll start with an apology. I didn't realize I was coming tonight, so excuse the appearance. Certainly no disrespect to any council member. It is what it is, unfortunately. There were some changes. The planning board, there were a couple of changes the planning board recommended, including removing the limits on the density. And with the motion that's on the floor to adopt the ordinance as is, those changes will not be adopted at this time. They would, what the idea, I believe, is that there'll be an RFP going out, redevelopers will respond, they will say, we can build exactly as the plan is written by Mr. Ricky, wherever he got to, as written by Mr. Ricky works, or great plan, however, we need to increase the density to X. So the planning board initially was saying, why don't we not cap the density? To do that, you would have to reintroduce, make all those changes, and then it would be up for adoption. You'd have another month delay, and candidly, it's probably one of those things that's probably, in my professional opinion, is probably one of those things that's better decided by the market in a response to the RFPs. If there's a issue with the density, you'll see it in the responses, and then the plan, if it needs to be amended, will come back before you in the same process you just went through. You would introduce it, send it over to the planning board for comment, they would send it back to you, and then you would take, whatever action the council believes is appropriate, either adopt it or reject it.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question? Okay.
Good enough.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
other council members? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please? Yes. Yeah, we did. We already asked that.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakonis?
Yes. Ordinance 6408.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, shall be in the same is hereby amended as follows. Add new Section 7-46, 7-46 Super Walmart Retail Complex, authorizing the Linden Police Department to enforce motor vehicle statutes on the designated property.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 6408, adopted, and to ask for a second, please.
Second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakonis?
Yes. Ordinance 64-09.
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Establishing a Schedule of Titles, Salary Ranges, and Regulations for Maintaining the Classification and Salary Standardization Plan of All Employees of the City of Linden," passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995, adding Salary Schedule 4-00-2.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to move ordinance 64-09. The hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted, and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakonis?
Yes. Ordinance 6410.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 31 zoning of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay. Please come forward and state your name and address.
My name is Owen Kanzler. I live at 606 Hagel Avenue, and that's Lot 1, Block 18. Excuse me, Block 1, Lot 18. And I was looking this ordinance over, and I see that there's certainly some understandable changes in zoning having to do with around the railroad station and the commercial area and so on. But then I look through it, and there's seems to be hundreds of blocks in Linden, lots in Linden that are zoned single family, and now all of a sudden you're changing it to two family. And I don't understand that. I'd like that to be explained to me. Why are we changing hundreds of lots in Linden from single family to two family zoning? And there seems to be enough density in some of these neighborhoods that we don't need two-family zoning. On my street, there's plenty of density, and parking is getting to be a problem because everybody who lives there has multiple cars, and just finding a parking space on the street sometimes is difficult. And you're talking about making hundreds of lots two families, so please explain that to me.
I'm going to ask Mr. Ricky, our city planner, to come forward and explain this.
Hello, for the record, Paul Ricky. I was the principal author of the master plan that recommended the zoning changes. The area you're referencing, I guess we'll call it the eastern portion of the city, and a large area is recommended to be rezoned. When we did the master plan, as part of our review, we created an existing land use map of the entire city. And as part of that review, that area already has a large number of two-family homes.
So that's something I didn't mention, that on my block, it lists every lot on the block.
May I finish? May I finish? May I finish? May I finish, sir? May I finish? I didn't cut you off when you were speaking. That area has a large number of two-family homes. We sat down as a master plan committee. It was an area that the city wanted to encourage reinvestment in as well, and the planning board recommended that area to be rezoned. The city has been allowing two-family homes, which used to be historically on one property, to allow those to be subdivided. It has been very successful in encouraging redevelopment of some older properties in disrepair. And it's something that the planning board wanted to continue in that area of the city. And the fact that there was already a large number of two-family homes in the area, it was found to be largely consistent with the existing land uses out there today. That's pretty much in a nutshell where the recommendation came from.
So what you're saying is that by rezoning like that, it's going to encourage improvements, but it's also going to raise density. So I don't understand why we have to do something that's going to raise density like that. We have to have other ways, or people should find other ways to be inspired to improve their properties instead of just raising the density of the neighborhood. And you talked about the two-family homes that are already there. Well, there are a handful of two-family homes. On my block, maybe there's 4 or 5 two-family homes. The rest of them are, they were built that way and it's zoned that way originally, but most of the lots are single-family. And throughout the neighborhood, there's always been a two-family home here or there that were grandfathered in, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know why we still have to go for this thing where we change the zoning so much that every darn block or every darn lot in the neighborhood is now being zoned two-family. And people take advantage of improving their homes by converting them into two-family homes. We're going to have a tremendous density problem over there. It'll be like Elmora and Elizabeth, which is over-densified as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Ricky?
Well, I mean, that was the recommendation from the planning board. Like I said, there's a large number of two-family homes. 1 and 2 family homes are permitted throughout the city, with the exception largely of really the Sunnyside area. Otherwise, historically, the city has seen a large number of two-family homes throughout it. This is, I'm trying to explain the rationale that led to the rezoning. I make recommendations, the planning board votes on that, and that's how we.
That's their
we led this.
recommendation from the
Yes.
planning board. Okay,
So
thank you.
the planning board is recommending that every lot be changed, every single family lot in that part of Linden be rezoned two-family. Is that what you're saying?
As part of the city's recently adopted master plan, yes, and that is the basis for this zone change.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, well, I just don't agree with that vision of the planning board. And it wouldn't be the first time that I've seen some awful mistakes made by the planning board.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does anybody, please no shouting out during our council meetings. Mr. Kazar, you're out of order. Does anybody else wish to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 64-10, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Jab?
Discussion?
Yep.
Yes.
Discussion.
Thank you, Council President. I'm just going to quickly, not quickly, whatever. I'm not going to vote for this. I don't want to mess up the zoning in the city, and I think it's important some of the work being done here to rezone some things in order to get in line with the master plan, redevelopment, Southwood Ave redevelopment, what have you. However, trying to understand this ordinance, the only thing I can come to realize is that we are changing a lot of the single-family housing in this city. Say, same where the gentleman was just coming from, or imagine hundreds and hundreds of lots, and we're changing them from single-family homes to R2As and R2Bs, which is going to essentially open up the ability of a person, if they owned a property or acquired a property, to turn it into a two-family home, starting to pack people in. Over the last couple of years, I've served on the council. I've had the honor to serve. I have noticed a lot of new housing going up. No quarrel with that. People making money, rebuilding houses, upgrading houses, whatnot. However, you're going to see a lot of. You're going to see a small select few of people make a lot of money rebuilding all the houses in this town and upgrading all the houses. This is not meant for people existing in Linden to rebuild their houses up and turn them into second stores. This is meant for the houses to get knocked down, leveled out, and rebuilt into these two families. So I won't be voting on it. I don't have the inclination and the greed for money. It's not part of my existence, and I just can't possibly get behind this. Thank you, Council President.
Councilman Medina?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I actually have a question for Mr. Ricky, if he can come back up, or maybe just answer it from there, but.
Mr. Ricky, could you please come back up?
The question is, what generated the planning board to look at this area to be rezoned? I know this area. I know there's homes there that are two-family, but what caused the planning board or yourself to look at this area?
Well, when we started, we created, like I said, an existing land use map for the area. And the area already showed a high predominance of two-family homes. Under municipal land use law, when we zone, we have to give reasonable consideration to the existing character of the area. They wanted to encourage reinvestment in this area, and that's, like I said, was the basis for the change.
Correct, thank you. And again, I'm sorry for the question, and I wasn't really too familiar with this ordinance.
Yeah.
I do have some concerns and whatnot. I think the area is well kept, a lot of nice homes in that area. My fear is, obviously, if the homes are currently owned, it's up to that property owner to actually make the change and apply for whatever they need to apply to make it a two-family home. So I'm not saying that this is going to happen right away and higher dense. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Councilman. Please recognize as well that not all properties would qualify. You would have to have a minimum of a 60-foot lot width. Most of the single-family homes in that area have 50 or 40-foot widths, so most of the properties are not going to qualify for two-family homes. So it's not going to be like, okay, you flip the switch, everyone can now just tear down their house and build a two-family. That's not the case.
Beautiful, thank you.
You need 6,000 square feet minimum and 60-foot lot width.
Thank you for the clarification on
Yeah.
that.
That's a variance,
I just-
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I just needed clarity, because I came from Elizabeth, and don't hold that against me, Mayor. So I seen what happened in Elizabeth and whatnot, and the high density and no parking available, so that's just my concern. But thank you for clearing that up. Not every single property will qualify for a two-family status and whatnot, so that makes my decision a little bit easier, so thank you so much.
Okay.
And it basically sounds like you're making a correction, basically, based on the area.
Any
So
other
that's what it sounds
counsel?
like. Thank you.
Excuse me. Councilman.
To answer your question, Councilwoman, anyone can seek a variance in any zone for any reason in the city. So, yes.
Sir, we closed the public comment on this, so if, you can come up again on this, on the public comment. If you'd like to speak to Mr. Ricky, you're more than welcome. Mr. Ricky, would you please speak to this gentleman off record?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Can we have a roll call?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
No.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamikaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6411.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and is amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-10, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-10, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets. Name of the street, add East Linden Avenue, the north side, north from Carteret direction, and East Linden Avenue South, East Linden Avenue north side, East Linden Avenue south side.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes. Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 64-11, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 64-12.
An ordinance authorizing the sale of Lot 11, Block 537, known as 1610 Clinton Street, on the current tax atlas of the City of Linden. Noted need for public use, establishing a minimum price of $90,000 and a public auction date of March 25th, 2020 at 10 a.m. in the council conference room, City Hall.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
I believe there's a need for a motion to
Yes.
amend this.
Yes,
There's a-
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to amend the date of the sale from March 25th, 2020 to April 30th, 2020 at 10 a.m. in the council conference room, 301 Northwood Avenue. All other terms and conditions remain the same.
Okay.
Motion.
Okay, can we have a
Second.
motion, a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed? Yes. Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamikaitis?
Yes. Okay, so that will now be held.
That will, the ordinance will be re-advertised, and the amended ordinance will be heard at the April meeting.
Okay. 64-13.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $363,000 for acquisition of sports utility vehicles and related equipment accessories for the police department for and by the city of Linden, and authorizing the issuance of $344,850 worth of bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on 64-13, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina? Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 64-14.
An ordinance of the City Council authorizing private sale of Block 244, Lot 16 in the City of Linden at a private sale pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-1 at sequence, and establishing a minimum bid for the property of $3,000.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on 64-14, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 64-15.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented, be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, shall be in the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33, Handicap Parking Regulations, 7-33, 1A, Handicap Parking on Street, delete 227 East Blanky Street, one space.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 64-15, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman? Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 64-16.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $690,300 for the acquisition of various items of capital equipment for the police department for and by the city of Linden, and authorizing the issuance of $655,785 bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on 64-16, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 64-17.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Linden, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the redevelopment plan entitled Redevelopment Plan, Block 513, Lots 4.01 and 4.02.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on 64-17, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda items. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the city council and be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence. Items number 1 through 6. Does any council member wish to remove an item? Okay, seeing none, could we have a motion, please?
I have a motion to move this forward. Consent to, consent to items 1 through 6.
And you need a second.
And I need a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman? Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay. With everything going on with the coronavirus, council discussed it earlier. What we're going to do tonight, instead of each council member doing reports on their different committees, we're going to ask if they could condense them a little bit into next month. We're going to do the reports that need to be voted on, such as our finance report. We have something from construction code, as well as our personnel report. So this way, we will give the mayor more time to give an update on what's going on with that for the citizens of Linden. So right now, I'm going to ask for the finance report from Councilwoman Ormond, the chair of the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to take this time to introduce the 2020 City of Linden Municipal Budget. The budget represents a total of $110,451,334.69 in expenditures for the year 2020. The Finance Committee will continue to work to further reduce expenses wherever possible. The Finance Committee has worked with every department head in keeping expenditures to a minimum. The Finance Committee is proud to deliver this budget at no increase for the third consecutive year in the municipal with library portion of your tax rate. Based on the average assessed home value of $131,845, this year's decrease is 67 cents. Once again, this year's budget addresses many issues pertaining to our public safety departments. We have added more police and fire to our complements. I would like to thank all the members of the governing body for their assistance and recommendations on the 2020 budget. I would like to especially thank every department head for their dedication and their diligence in preparing their 2020 municipal budget requests. Please be advised that anyone interested in obtaining a copy of the 2020 municipal budget, copies will be available in the city clerk's office from 9 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m., Monday through Friday. If you are unable to pick up a copy, you may contact the city clerk's office at 908-474-8452, and a copy will be sent to you. It is also available on the city's website, www.linden-nj.org, for viewing at the Linden Municipal Library. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Okay, I'm going to ask Mr. Bodak, our city clerk, to read the municipal budget notice.
Municipal budget of the City of Linden, County of Union for the calendar year 2020. Be it resolved that the following statements of revenue and appropriations shall constitute the municipal budget for the year 2020. Be it further resolved that said budget be published in the Union County Local Source in the issue of March 26, 2020. The governing body of the City of Linden does hereby introduce the following as the budget for the year 2020. Notice is hereby given that the budget and tax resolution was introduced by the governing body of the City of Linden, County of Union on March 17, 2020. A hearing on the budget and tax resolution will be held at the City Hall on April 21, 2020 at 7 o'clock p.m., at which time and place objections to said budget and tax resolution for the year 2020 may be presented by taxpayers or other interested persons.
Okay,
Motion?
can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move for approval of the 2020 City of Linden municipal budget and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Could I have a clarification? Are we introducing or are we approving?
Introducing.
Okay, so I'm voting yes for introduction.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, Councilwoman Ormond, you have the finance report?
Yes, the Budget Review and Finance Committee report. Approval is requested for the following finance actions. The payment of bills totaling $1,230,959.04 have been signed by the Mayor, Council President, and Finance Chairwoman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. We are in receipt of the investments made by the City Treasurer for the month of February at the rate of 2.75%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to call on Councilwoman Caldwell for the construction code with the light request.
Okay. I'm requesting approval for installation of a street light on East Blanky Street, pole 64476 LD, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, Councilman Strano, the personnel report?
Thank you, Council President. I have the personnel report for March 17th, 2020. I think we have 5 items to go over real quick. Number 1, in the Police Department, A is accepting the resignation of Ed Chaback as a SLE 03 effective March 1st of 2020. B is permission to have Sophia Loren Martinez as an unpaid intern for the period of June 15, 2020 through August 31st of 2020. Number 2 is in the Department of Community Services. In the Division of Public Property, A is the change in title for Gerald Bishop to the internal designation of a department facilitator effective March 18, 2020, with a salary adjustment to $84,563 effective May 11th of 2020. B is the hiring of Veronica Caruso as a laborer at the rate of $15 per hour pending successful completion of all pre-employment requirements effective April 10th of 2020. C is permission to post for 1 laborer in the Department of Community Services. In the Division of Public Works, A is to approve the demotion of Christopher Ott from truck driver to laborer Tier 2 for a period of 10 months at a rate of $15 per hour effective March 13th, 2020, with a reinstatement date of January 1st of 2021. B is a change in title for Ronald Fruenschwanger to Tree Maintenance Worker 2 at the rate of $27.80 per hour and eliminating his current stipend effective March 18th of 2020. C is a change in title for Luke Almakaitis to Equipment Operator / Sewer Inspector at the rate of $37 per hour effective April 7th of 2020. D is a change in title for Glenn Larson to Sanitation Inspector at the annual salary of $80,247 effective March 18th of 2020. E is the appointment of James Julius as laborer at the rate of $15 per hour effective April 10th, 2020, pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. F is the appointment of Peter Goebel as laborer at the rate of $15 per hour effective April 10th, 2020, pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. G is the appointment of Gerald Walker as a laborer at the rate of $15 per hour effective April 10th, 2020, pending the successful completion of all pre-employment requirements. In the Division of Engineering, A is the hiring of Carmon DeCosmo as a senior engineer civil at the annual salary of $88,000, pending the completion of all pre-employment requirements effective May 4, 2020, at an annual salary of $88,000 and granting a waiver of residency requirement. 3, in the Recreation Department, it is A, the approval of the seasonal list, which is on file in the clerk's office. 4, in the Treasury, A is the approval of the increase in hours of Siniqua Walcott, a student assistant, to an amount not to exceed 28 hours per week during the spring and summer breaks of 2020. And 5 is the FMLA/NJFLA, which is approval of all the FMLA, NJFLA requests submitted for March 2020. They are approved and they're on file, to be approved and on file with the Division of Personnel. I move the approval of the personnel report and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mrs. Hickey?
Yes, but I'd like to abstain to Division of Public Works, letter F. Yes to the rest.
Hang on 1 second. Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes on all, but I abstain on item number 2 in the Division of Public Works, letter C.
That concludes my reports.
Okay, Mayor Armstead?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. First, prior to my report this evening, I'd first like to thank the governing body for helping me to introduce a budget with a zero increase again. This is our third consecutive year of introducing a budget with a zero increase. It's not easy, but, you know, I ask you to sharpen your pencils, and you do it, and time again, we've been able to reduce taxes. And it hasn't been by much this year. We had some anticipated revenue that we didn't receive. We would have liked to lower them a little bit more, but we were unable to. But the end result is we did lower taxes again this year. I believe it's only 60-something cents, but hey, it's not going up. And that's the idea here, is to stabilize taxes and to continue to increase development and increase revenues so that we can continue down this path. And it's our hope that, that others will follow suit, our Board of Education, our county, and adopt the same sort of rationale and try to give the taxpayers a break. So once again, I just want to thank you all for working so hard to make this happen, because, you know, when you lower taxes, it really makes not just you look good, it makes me look good too, and I appreciate that, I really do. You know, at a time when, you know, politics being what it is, sometimes ugly, we just like to continue to be able to lower taxes and do our job, and that is for the people of Linden. They deserve to have stabilized taxes. Okay, well, as you all know, our country at this point, we have a very serious situation here. It's called coronavirus 19, aka COVID number 19. It's very serious, and I think in the beginning people took it very lightly. Some took it lightly, but as you can see by the markets and just the overall sentiment in the country, this is a very serious virus. But as one mentioned earlier, this too shall pass. We'll get through this. I believe that we are the greatest country in the world, and I believe that great countries are comprised of great cities like Linden, and I think if we all pull together, we will weather this storm, and one day we'll look back and see how we've pulled together to overcome this thing. But in any event, 2 days ago, we were notified of our first confirmed case. And I just want to let the people know that the individual is home, he's on home isolation with all the family members, and they've been quarantined. And I know you've heard this before, but I may be a little bit repetitive. But at this point, I think we need to try to adhere to what we refer to as the CDC recommended guidelines, and a little common sense. Doing things like washing your hands, for at least 20 seconds with soap and warm water. If soap and water are not available, use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your face, especially your mouth, nose, and your eyes. And the term of social distancing is becoming more and more prevalent. It's being used by many every day. And this is something that if you even look in the courtroom tonight, you'll see that we've tried our very best to stagger our council people so that we could have room and we would exercise in social distancing. That simply means also try not to shake hands. You've seen many people doing elbow bumps and all kinds of neat little things to demonstrate that we're trying to be conscious. So let's do all we can to try to prevent the spread of this particular virus. So, and certainly one thing we don't want to do, we don't want to panic, okay? Because I think all too often when we have these crises, people start panicking. They start doing things that just don't make a lot of sense. We don't want to panic. The world's not coming to an end. And I'll say this again, we are the greatest country in the world, and we have the greatest doctors in the world, and we have some of the greatest cities in the world, led by some great people. And I'll be the first to mention our Office of Emergency Management, our police chief, our fire chief, our Board of Health Director, Nancy Koblis. We collectively work in unison, and we will make sure that we do everything humanly possible to make sure that the residents of Linden are safe. So if you feel sick with a cough, sore throat, or fever, call your family doctor. That you should do first. Do not rush to the emergency room. Chances are, if you rush to the emergency room and you don't have it, you may be exposing yourself to someone there who does have it. And if you do have it and you rush to the emergency room, you put others at jeopardy and at risk. So we ask you not to rush to the emergency room. Call your family doctor. Take his advice. One very important thing here, and I think that we all have to remember, is that the messaging that comes out of this city has to be centralized. The one thing that we don't, because what causes panic is when you have people, everybody's got a different message, they're all on Facebook, the Twitter and everything. This is something that we don't need to be engaged in, okay? I encourage all the council members, if you need to know some information, we have Nancy Koblis, she's our Board of Health Director. She has the information. Go through her, get the information. Call me. I'm working very closely with her. We will make sure that we disseminate the information in a way that is productive and will not create panic. So if you need Nancy Koblis' number, her number is 908-474-8420. Again, that's 908-474-8420. Or you can call the coronavirus emergency hotline, which is 1-800-222-1222. And again, Nancy Koblis, the Board of Health number is 908-474-8420. Now, you may have heard this information before, but I'm going to continue to try to drill down on it to make sure that we all understand just how important it is that we adhere and we disseminate information properly. So, I've been meeting, not just meeting, but we've been involved in a conference call every day at 1 o'clock to discuss this virus and how we as a city, how we as a county can best address this, okay? So again, here's some basic information, some updates as to what's been going on, what we've been discussing. And again, when I say what we've been discussing, it's the leadership throughout the county. It's information provided by the state. It's information that we share from the police department, our fire department, and our Board of Health. And collectively, we come together and we try to come up with ideas that are going to try to safeguard the public. And guess what? We're not perfect, okay? We're learning as we go. Okay, so I'm going to just go over some of the facts that we have here. And again, as of today, Linden has one case of the COVID-19 virus. In the county, there are 15, and statewide, there are 267 confirmed cases. The Linden City Hall, going forward, will be closed to the public starting March 18th, which is tomorrow. Should you need to contact an office, please call my office at 908-474-8493 so you can be directed to the proper department. The Union County offices are also closed. Should you need to contact Union County, you can call them at 908-527-4787 for assistance. Again, that's 908-527-4787. The Linden and Union County parks are open. However, all playground equipment is closed until further notice. There's a reason for that, because children will play on the swings and they can spread that virus if they should come in contact with it. And the last thing we want to do is what we're trying to do here is minimize the ways that this particular virus can be spread. So, in Linden, the Department of Public Works, we've suspended sewer maintenance. Alternate street side parking is suspended. There's a rationale behind this reasoning, okay? Many people are home because the children are out of school. So this creates a parking problem on some blocks. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to eliminate the alternate street side parking. So this is to help our residents. Now, as you know, as previously stated, the Linden School District is closed, and it's closed until March 27th. However, they've implemented a grab-and-go program for students who need lunch. This program is for all school-age children. Although we have offered several of our recreation buildings to help with the distribution for the convenience of some of the neighborhoods, the school district has declined. Therefore, lunches can be picked up at Linden High School on the Ainsworth Street side, that's the gym entrance, School 2 on the West 17th Street side, and School 5 on the East Curtis Street side rear door. And I'm going to reiterate something. Our offer still stands with the Board of Education with regards to utilizing city facilities to help facilitate the dissemination of these lunches. We're here to help. We want to work in unison with the Board of Education because we feel that together we should be a team on this. Daycare centers and houses of worship are open and presently exempt from closure until further notice. Supermarkets, pharmacies, and gas stations are not subject to the 8 p.m. close time. If you, by chance, find a place where price gouging is going on, you should call Weights and Measures Division of Union County Consumer Affairs Department. That number is 908-527-4787. Or you can email ucnj.org/public-safety/office-consumer-affairs. And this information will be provided. You can call my office, and we will make sure that you get it, and we'll post it on the website, and we'll post it everywhere we can so that you can be aware, you'll know how to respond. But just to rehash the zero-tolerance policy, in the city of Linden, there will be a zero-tolerance policy for price gouging that prey on consumers concerned by the COVID-19 pandemic. New Jersey's price gouging law prohibits excessive price increases during a declared state of emergency and for 30 days after its termination. Excessive price increases defined as any price that exceeds 10% of the price of the product or service that was sold during the normal course of business. It's illegal in a state of emergency. Price gouging violations are punishable by civil penalties of up to $10,000 for the first offense and $20,000 for the second and subsequent offenses. Consumers are urged to beware of store or online ads for products that claim to cure or prevent COVID-19 or other offers and solicitations related to the virus. Anyone who believes they've seen a case of price gouging can contact the Division of Consumer Affairs at 973-504-6240. A special voicemail box has been set up to address the COVID-19 related price gouging complaints and is being checked regularly, even outside of normal business hours. Consumers should leave the following: his or her name, their contact information, the nature of the complaint, the name and location of the business, the price of the good or service being sold, price prior to the declared state of emergency if known. Consumers are also encouraged to file complaints online by visiting the division's website. Moving right along. Supermarkets, pharmacies, and gas stations are not subject to the 8 p.m. close time. And there were some rumblings today at ShopRite where some of our police officers were accused of not letting or trying to keep 50 or more people from going into the supermarket. I want everyone to know that this is not true. Our police officers are not engaged in trying to prevent people from going into supermarkets. So if you hear that rumor, it is false, totally false. Our police officers, they have a difficult enough time policing the streets. We don't have the time to try to enforce whether or not 50 or less people can go into a supermarket. And we wouldn't do that anyway. So if you hear that, we want you to know that that rumor is totally false. Moving right along. All liquor stores will be closed by 8 p.m. The Linden Municipal Court is closed, but you can reach them by calling 908-474-8423. The Linden Welfare Office at 605 Southwood Avenue is not open to the public, but you can call your social worker at 908-474-8620. And again, these numbers will be posted on Facebook and will be posted on the doors outside of City Hall. The Linden Public Library is closed. The Linden Multipurpose Center is closed. That's on John Street. The Linden PAL building has been closed. The John T. Gregorio Recreation Center is closed. Should any of our seniors become shut in due to this outbreak, please call my office so we can have you receive a hot lunch delivered to your home. My number again is 908-474-8493. Any seniors who were participating at the JTG Center and their meal program will now have meals delivered to them. And again, I'll reiterate, if there are any seniors in this town who are sick or shut in for any reason, whether or not you engage in the Meals for Wheels program or not, you can call our office and we will make sure that you receive a meal lunchtime, a hot meal lunchtime. It is our intention to make sure that we help as many who are affected by this virus comfortable as possible going forward. Theaters and gyms are closed and will remain closed until further notice. Restaurants and bars that service food can remain open only for takeout delivery. Only for takeout delivery service, and are not subject to the 8 p.m. close time. Okay, so you can remain open, but you have to have takeout delivery. The governor has asked all residents to please stay home between the hours of 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. This is something that we can't enforce, but we ask that in this time of crisis that you do try to conform to the governor's request. If the company or business you work for should shut down, you can apply for unemployment. You can apply for unemployment online. If you're eligible, the website is myunemployment.nj.gov, and we will also post that information on our website, and we will get it out and disseminate it to as many people as we possibly can via Facebook and via social media, and any way that we possibly can let you know, we will get it out to you. If you have any questions concerning the coronavirus or COVID-19, please do not hesitate to call the Board of Health at 908-474-8420, or you can go to covid19@linden-nj.org. That is an email that we have set up for your convenience. You can also call the coronavirus emergency hotline at 1-800-222-1222. And again, we're repeating these numbers over and over again because it is important that you have access to these numbers. Some additional information. Please note that tomorrow that my office will be calling Verizon and Fios and any internet providers, and we'll ask them for the next 2 weeks while our children are at home and engaged in a distance learning program, that they do not enforce shut-off notices. I don't know how much success we'll have with this, but we're certainly going to outreach to the carriers to see to it that we can help out. Once again, we're in constant communications with the Union County representatives, and we speak to them every day at 1 o'clock in a conference call to receive further updates. We're in constant communications with the governor's office, who continue to provide us with updates. And we want to reaffirm one thing: do not panic. Okay, we will get through this. Working together as a community, we will get through this. We're here to help, and I think, and I've often said that sometimes when things are at their absolute worst, we as human beings could be at our absolute best. So I'm going to close out with that, and thank you all for listening, and please exercise all caution that you possibly can. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor. As the mayor had mentioned, City Hall will be closed. You will see a sign posted on all our city buildings that look like this, giving the number for the mayor's office, our city clerk's office, our Board of Health, as well as the email to our Board of Health regarding the COVID-19. There's an address there, as well as our construction code and building department. So all these you can contact by phone or email. Any problems, as the mayor had said, please reach out to the mayor's office. That number again is 908-474-8493.
Council President,
Yes.
one more thing. I forgot to mention to everyone this evening, I guess with all the seriousness, happy St. Patrick's Day to all.
Thank you, Mayor.
I wore my green.
All right, we'll move on to resolutions. Okay, Mr. Bodek, can we have a motion to remove, we had an additional resolution number 2020-130. It's a duplicate of 2020-112. Can we have a motion to remove that?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to remove the duplicate resolution 2020-130 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, can you please read the additional resolution number 2020-144?
Resolution adopting guidelines for the recording of all government body meetings of the City of Linden. Whereas the City Council of the City of Linden wishes to comply with the spirit and thrust of the New Jersey Supreme Court decision entitled Robert Wayne Torres versus Borough of Pine Hill et al., where the court recognized a citizen's common law right to videotape public meetings. And whereas the decision permits municipalities to adopt guidelines to ensure that the recording of meetings does not disrupt the business of the public body or other citizens' rights of access. And whereas the decision requires that such guidelines must be neutrally adopted, administered, and limited in scope to the stated purpose of preventing disruption. And whereas the City Council, in presenting and adopting this resolution, desires to set forth a designated location to permit the recording of a public meeting. However, the City Council will present an ordinance for first reading at its next regular scheduled meeting for consideration of the guidelines being imposed here, but may also impose additional guidelines after further consideration and discussion. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Linden and the County of Union that 1, the City Council fully supports the decisions in Robert Wayne Torres v. Borough of Pine Hill et al., and the court's recognition of a citizen's common law right to videotape a public meeting. 2, the City Council desires to impose some restrictions immediately and desires to comply with the court's decision by imposing reasonable guidelines to ensure that the recording of meetings does not disrupt the business of the public body or other citizens' rights of access. 3, the City Council designates the last row middle of the main meeting room as the designated location for the recording of said public meetings. 4, the City Council requires all recording to be taken while seated in the council caucus conference room as the designated location for the recording of said public meetings. 5, within the main meeting room, there will be a sign alerting any citizen that such section has been reserved for the recording of said public meeting. Within the council caucus conference room, there shall be a sign alerting any citizen that all recordings shall take place from a seated position. 6, no tripods or other devices shall be used to record meetings. Each citizen shall hold his or her own recording device. 7, unrestricted recording of meetings shall be permitted prior to the adoption of the meeting minutes in the main room. 8, the City Council will consider additional guidelines as a result of further discussions and consideration, and has directed the city attorney to draft an ordinance for first reading at the next regular scheduled meeting.
Okay. Can we have a motion on resolutions 2020-110 through 2020-144?
Council President, I offer a motion that we adopt 2020-110 through 123 and ask for a second. 144, correction, and ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Thank you, Council President. Okay, I go?
Yep.
Thank you. So for 123, we're appointing Linden Economic Development member to the SIDS building, or the SIDS thing. Is this not making 10, is there now 10 people on SIDS? And, what? I'm sorry? I have 3 minutes total or 3 minutes per?
Yeah.
3 minutes per resolution?
No, total of 3 minutes.
We are proposing a resolution to assign a tax sale certificate to Block 457, known as 16 Southwood Avenue. If anyone is familiar with this property, it is the old white garage that sits right next to the train station across from the Linwood. We are going to sell this tax certificate for $57,000, which is the back taxes on the property. The property has been in back taxes since early 2018. So I was asked why we're selling this property for so cheap, and I would like council to offer an opinion as to why. Also, I would like to hear if indeed he says it's because of mass contamination in the property, which is fine because we all have known there is some sort of contamination there. Why haven't council and this governing body seen a report on how much contamination is there so we can make a just vote when giving away this property, or you know, selling the property for a total of $57,000 as opposed to foreclosing on it, which was what the city could do. If we denied this resolution, we could foreclose on the property, and then we would be in the driver's seat saying, well, there's this much contamination, it's going to cost this much to fix. That makes the property worth this much. Realistically, if there was no contamination, this little property near the train station worth about $1 million, $800,000 easy. But there apparently is some sort of contamination, but no one has offered me a report or a cost analysis of how much it's going to cost to pick up and clean all of this contamination here. And that being said, we're just going to give the property away for $57,000 as opposed to providing council the data they need in order to make a just decision here. I don't know how much contamination is there. I would really like to know. And anyone up here can't possibly vote because they don't have the documentation. I asked for it today, and I was denied it. The council and Mr. Laspinoso, Chief of Staff, Director of Economic Development, said I was not entitled to the documents that showed the contamination and how much contamination and possibly how much it would cost to clean up. So instead, they just want us as a council to come up here and vote to give this tax sale certificate away for $57,000 as opposed to what it should be worth. And I'm asking council to explain all that to me. Thank you, Council President.
Tracy, Stacy Karen?
I know, I'm sorry, just to be reiterate, I know Stacy's job in this is to, there's a tax sale certificate, you sell it. If someone talks to the city and asks, can I buy this? That's what she does. That's her job by statute. I'm asking why I'm not provided the documents showing the contamination and a cost analysis of how much contamination is
Mr.
there.
Antonelli, could you explain that? Because there's a legal part in this that's not being explained.
Yes, that's what I want to know.
Thank you, Council President. So it's right. The city has two options here. It could assign the tax sale certificate, which the resolution before you for consideration this evening, if adopted, would do exactly that. The other option would be that the city could foreclose on the tax sale certificate, become a title owner of the property. The issue here, though, is the property is contaminated. There's a Phase 1 and a Phase 2. It was done by the developer, not by the city. That's why we're not privy, at least
So the
that's why the
developer
body
did
is not
this
privy to those
study.
documents. But in light of Councilman Roman's questions last night, I reached out to the attorney for Meridia, for Capadagli, and they had shared the reports with me in confidence, but I could represent to you as your city attorney, as an officer of the court as well. The report I have shows about $1 million in remediation costs. I would also be remiss if I didn't say that this property is within the redevelopment area, where Capadagli is already the appointed redeveloper. So the likelihood of selling it to someone else is minimal. It's part of the redevelopment project. But understand, too, assigning this certificate to Capadagli, if you adopt the resolution, the property owner could redeem that tax sale certificate in months, 2 months, 3 months. They have that right to do that. So we don't own this property. It would be up to Capadagli to foreclose. But obviously, the property owner at any point in time could redeem those taxes and cancel the lien. So again, what we're doing here, I think, is a good government thing, which is assign it to the developer, let the developer handle the tax foreclosure, and also let the developer handle all the remediation that needs to be done there. And that way, we don't have to deal with that issue, because again, if we become a title owner of the property, there are some exceptions, but certainly I would not want to see this city exposed, foreclose on a tax sale certificate where we're not getting paid taxes already, and then all of a sudden we now have inherited $1 million issue. And that certainly would be negligence on my part if I allowed that to happen.
Thank you, Mr. Antonelli.
Just for the record, Council President, Mr. Antonelli, Capadagli did have a contract on the property previously. They were going to buy it.
It's my understanding there was negotiations. It was a little bit below $500,000, but then as the remediation and the Phase 1 and the Phase 2 further determined that the remediation costs were going to be that much greater, that drove the price down. I believe they got to around a $200,000, $250,000 number, but then the seller, it's an estate sale, and there's an attorney that's representing the estate decided that they weren't going to go forward with the deal.
Any other council members? Councilman Blaine?
You had mentioned that the owner can come and literally pay the taxes and take the property back.
Yeah, actually what would happen, don't forget, the property today, tomorrow, next week is still owned by the property owner. It's a tax sale certificate. So obviously when people or business owners do not pay taxes here in the city after some period of time, the tax collector goes out to a tax sale as permitted by law. And the reason for that is because the municipality gets the revenue in, and now you have a lien holder that bought that lien, and then that accrues with interest. So the property owner, Councilman, still owns it today, tomorrow, the next day. Whether we assign the tax sale certificate this evening or not, that property owner has a right to redeem that tax sale certificate and would have to pay not only the unpaid taxes that have accrued to date, but also whatever interest and other charges have accrued as well.
And what's the time frame that he has to do that?
So the municipality, I believe, under the law, a municipality has 6 months to foreclose. Generally, if it's not the municipality, it's 2 years. I believe in this particular instance, because we're assigning it, it would likely be 6 months, but that's for the developer, that's not for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Anthony, just one more question in regards to grants. If we were to hold on to it and foreclose, we would be able to look for grants to remediate the property, state, federal, whatever it may be? Because we're a municipality?
I would assume so.
Can a developer do that if they, can a private entity, I'm sorry?
I'm not too familiar, but I would think that there's probably some programs out there for a private developer as well, because obviously the benefit is to everybody that the property
Sure.
gets cleaned up
Of
and
course.
restored to the tax rolls.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You want to speak, Mayor?
Mr. Antonelli, in your legal opinion, since Capadaglia has filed a tort claim against Councilman Roman for like up to $20 million.
He did not. It's against the city, Mayor. It's
yeah,
against the entire city.
Councilman Roman,
Because of your
Mayor is
actions.
speaking.
Okay.
I mean, you're named in it. You're named in it. Of course, he named you and us in it.
Can't wait till I have to get
Councilman
deposed on that,
Roman.
right?
Councilman, you're out of order.
What's going to happen when I get deposed on
Councilman,
that?
Can
Mayor
I-
And I have to
Armstead has the
reveal what I
floor.
know.
You can reveal whatever you want to know.
Councilman Roman, Mayor Armstead has the floor.
In your professional
Mayor,
opinion,
please.
do you think that Capadaglia should be turning over anything to a councilman he's named in a tort claim for upward to $20 million?
I mean, I would just say this, Mayor, I don't think any other member of council was given the report as well. It is a report of the developer. It's private. Obviously, if the city had conducted a Phase 1 or Phase 2, then you would have had access to those documents.
And it's typical when you have a development to have the actual developer to pay for the Phase 1 and Phase 2. Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
So the question becomes, do we trust the
Councilman-
developer?
Councilman, Mayor Armstead is the one that has the floor right now. Mayor, continue.
I have no questions. I just agree with the fact that Capadaglia wouldn't turn. I wouldn't turn it over to this governing body, knowing that I mean, we had a council member who he's actually suing. He's actually suing you. You're involved in a tort claim against Capadaglia. He named you.
For the record, Council President, is a tort claim notice. He has noticed the city that he could, in the future, up to 2 years, I believe, sue the city. This is just a campaign tactic, in my opinion, and that
Councilman Roman.
they have no intention of actually suing. They just want to bash my name during my election, and that's fine. That's totally legal, and I'm
Councilman
okay
Roman,
with
we're
it.
moving on to a vote now. Does any other council
I just
members
wanted
want
to know
discuss? Councilman
to have-
Roman, we're moving
I
on.
just
Thank
want the
you.
report to be more comfortable making this decision. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak on this? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Ormond,
Yes.
Javik,
Yes.
Caldwell,
Yes.
Mohammed. Yes. Roman,
No.
Strano.
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Hickey,
Abstain.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Okay. We're going to move on to ordinances for consideration. First reading. Starting with ordinance 6418.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $715,000 for the acquisition of a fire engine and authorizing the issuance of $679,250 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President.
introduction.
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance 6418 and ask for a second.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Roman.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Blaine.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 6419.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $2,100,000 for various park improvements and authorizing the issuance of $1,531,707 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I make a motion for 64-19 and ask for a second.
Second.
Ormond.
Yes.
Javik.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Roman.
Yes.
Strano. Blaine.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey. Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 6420.
Refunding bond ordinance providing for the refunding of certain general obligation bonds of the City of Linden, New Jersey, appropriating $5,900,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,900,000 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the cost thereof.
Okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 64-20 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Hickey.
My apologies on the resolution vote. With the little things going on up here, I got a little flustered, and I thought we were just voting on the one resolution, number 113. So I am abstaining from resolutions 113, 135, and 136, and yes to the rest. And again, my apologies.
Okay, Councilman Roman?
Thank you, Council President. I'd also, in the frazzle of everything, like to amend. I am voting yes to everything, but I am voting no to 113. I am voting abstaining from 135 and 136. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Okay, Deputy Clerk, we're going to move on to ordinance 6421 for introduction.
An ordinance to establish a cat bank for calendar year 2020 according to NJSA 40A:4-45.14.
Okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to to introduce ordinance 64-21 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Ms. Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman? Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6422.
An ordinance adopting the redevelopment plan entitled Redevelopment Plan, Block 587, Lots 3.01, 3.02, and 3.03, the LCP site pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 and sequence.
Can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 64-22 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6423.
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995, adopting salary schedule 4003.
Can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to move ordinance number 64-23 for introduction and request a second.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6424.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Section 1, that Chapter 7 traffic, Section 7-14, parking prohibited during certain hours on certain streets shall be in the same as hereby amended as follows. Add West Blanky Street, South Side, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., from Lexington Avenue to a point 107 feet northeasterly.
Okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce 64-24 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6325.
Bond ordinance authorizing various capital improvements for the engineering department and appropriating $408,100 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $387,695 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Can we have a motion, please, for ordinance 6325?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to move ordinance number 6325 for introduction and request a second.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6326.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden that Section 1, Chapter 7 Traffic shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33 Handicap Parking Regulations, 7-33.1A Handicap Parking on Street. Add near 615 Academy Terrace, one space for 53 MacArthur Court, and delete 227 East Blanky Street, one space, and 829 Hussa Street, one space.
Okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 63-26 and ask for a second.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Aye.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, comments from members of the public in attendance on city business only. No personal, political, or derogatory comments, not to exceed 3 minutes. We're asking that due to the current health crisis, that questions and/or statements be limited to items on the agenda only. So thank you for your cooperation. Okay, I have John Kazor. Councilman. There's Lysol spray underneath. Okay, please just state your name and address for the record.
John Kaiser, 23 West Monticello Avenue. You know, this meeting, first of all, goes against everything you were saying, Mr. Mayor, about the CDC guidelines, but we know why we had to be here. I am dying right now. You guys are passing a resolution all for me? This is amazing. You know, Linden, they are so upset that I'm going to these smaller meetings now and taping them, which is my right. So now they're saying I'm distracting them, like you can't hold it together while I'm taping some of these things. The problem is that, you know, I'm showing some of the things they don't want being taped. So, you know, sir, right here, to answer your question, it's because, you know, Derek and his buddies got to make some money, so they got to build more houses. We know how it goes. Mr. Luis da Silva, congrats. I remember him well at the height of the And One. I was very big into Linden basketball and all that. He was much more diplomatic than I would be, you know. There's a worldwide pandemic going on right now. He said his family can't be here because of the social distancing. Either the meeting shouldn't be held right now, or he should have been moved to a different meeting so his family, his kids, and everybody else could have been here. You know, Councilman Roman asking questions yesterday. Again, it's like hot potato from Ricky to Antonelli to Armstead to Las Pinoso. You know, Las Pinoso said he could see the information yesterday. Today he's told he's not entitled to it. I mean, Antonelli explained some of that right now. I ask questions about the Meridian. I pay attention, okay? From the planning board meeting for Meridian on West Elizabeth Ave. I hear things. I'm a numbers guy, okay? It was 1.2 parking spots per one bedroom. This was passed in the planning board meeting. When I showed Mr. Ricky, he said, oh, I wasn't there. And then the man, Charles Olivo from Stonefield Properties, said 1, okay? Why are we saying these numbers if they're not important? I emailed this guy 3 times and said, you said 1 bedroom, 1 parking spot per 1 bedroom. He hasn't gotten back to me. Now everyone's just like, duh. Listen, you hear too much and you ask too many questions, buddy. You know, speaking of silencing the people, you just deleted a whole post off of your mayor's page. You know, instead of addressing the people, you just silence them, delete. Councilman Roman, I know we have to be careful what we're saying up there. Back in July, I sat up here and I said, what did they do first? They try to censor you, then they try to demonize you, and now we're on to property damage. My councilman, 3 times in the last 2 weeks, has his tires deflated, okay? What's left? Physical injury? Is that where we're at now? Okay? I don't know who it is, but we'll find out. I'll tone it down a little bit throughout this pandemic we have going on right now. I am available if anybody needs any help for the elderly, for anything, any errands, anything I can help with. My phone number is 908-525-5474. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, can we have a motion to close the public comment section of the meeting?
So
Council
moved.
President, I'd like to make,
Second.
good enough.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Roman.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Blaine.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Okay, comments from members of the governing body? Anybody wish to speak? Okay. Councilman Roman?
Thank you. Just to get it out of the way, council was asked to forego their reports to make way for the much longer mayor's report, which is all the centralized information that you guys need to hear during this time. I wish you nothing but health in the city. My phone number is 908-494-5784. If anyone needs me, I will be in the 6th Ward. I'll also be in the 10th Ward, checking on my mother once in a while, so please call me if you need anything. Thank you, Council President.
Yes, I'd first again like to thank council for the fine job they did on the budget again this year and giving the residents of Linden a 0 tax increase. I'd also like to thank the council for this resolution adopting guidelines for recording of the governing body meetings in our caucus sessions. Contrary to what has been stated, we do this because we have to. Unfortunately, because some people just, no matter what, are not going to behave properly. We allowed recording to go on in the council caucus meeting, and then we had an individual who was jumping up and down, taking pictures, putting cameras in people's faces. So we had to come up with, so we had, so we had.
Mr. Kazar, you're out of order. This
So we
is the
had to
second
come up with
time
a-
I'm
we had to
calling
come up
you
with a
out
way.
of order, sir.
We had to have some sort of order, and as you can see, we have these rules and guidelines.
Officer.
Because we have people who don't know how to
Mr.
behave
Kazar,
themselves.
you're out of order, sir.
And again, we do these things because we have people who just don't know how to act at council meetings, and they act out here, and they began acting out in our council caucus, and we decided to draw a line immediately and would not tolerate it, and that's why we have this resolution, so we can have some decorum, and we can have, you can record anything you want in our meeting. You're just going to record from a central point. You're not going to be jumping up and down, sticking cameras in people's faces, trying to record if they're eating candy, if they're having a snack during a caucus meeting. So it had to be done.
Okay, Councilwoman Caldwell?
I just want to say, I hope all my 3rd Ward neighbors, now, the entire city, stay safe and wash your hands, and I hope everyone stays healthy. And also, 3rd Ward neighbors, I canceled the community meeting on March 26th. Hopefully, we can have one in April. So everyone stay safe and healthy.
Okay. Councilman Javik?
Yes, I'd like to just say to the citizens of Linden, be safe, be healthy, be responsible, and this will help us all. Thank you.
Councilwoman Ormond?
Also, just remember, we have elderly citizens in our community, some who may live right next door to you. Please, please, check on them. You don't have to go inside, but please, give them a call, knock on the door, see if they need groceries. The grocery stores are just total madness out there. So please, be kind, be considerate, be compassionate. That elderly person is somebody's grandmother or mother, so please, look out for them as well. Thank you.
I'd like to just thank all the council members for being so cooperative, with dispensing of their council reports to give the mayor extra time this month to address the citizens of Linden. Some of our council members are forgoing their comments right now, and I just want to make mention, if you need to contact any of the council members, they're all available during this time. Their numbers and email addresses are on the city website, as well as the mayor's office. They'll get you in contact with the Board of Health if you missed any of the addresses, the email addresses or phone numbers. So please, all that information is on the city website. And on behalf of all the council and the mayor, we wish everybody to please stay well and be safe, everyone. Okay, the following council meetings will be as follows. Council conference meeting, Monday, April 20th, 2020 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting, Tuesday, April 21st at 6 p.m. at the council conference room, City Hall. Council meeting Tuesday, April 21st, 2020 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers in City Hall. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Medina? Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes.